right. After literally traveling all over the globe, Karl Watson is moving to Winnipeg. In fact, he's made the move, lives here now. He outlines the reasons why in a video on his YouTube channel, Karl Watson Travel Documentaries. It's now this video racked up over 120,000 views. Karl is in Taiwan right now, but we've reached him via Zoom. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I loved your video. I watched all of it early this morning before the show. It was super fun.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to put together.
What was the reaction you got to it when you sort of unfolded this and then you talk about moving to Winnipeg and, what kind of reaction has it got so far?
It's been interesting. There's been lots of lovely sort of heartfelt messages from fellow Winnipeggers welcoming me to the city, which has been fantastic. There's been other Canadians who have emigrated over like myself who've reached out saying it reminded them of their experience and how lovely it was. And then there's been a whole ton of other comments from other Canadians thinking I've made the greatest mistake of my life. So,
you're funny in this video. You at one point say what do you actually say? What are you, high on something? Why would you move to Winnipeg? Why did you move here?
It's quite simple. My wife, Jamie's from Winnipeg. She's born and raised here. And we were doing long distance relationship for a while. And then, it made more sense. She's a lawyer, so if she moved to the UK, she'd have to retrain, whilst with what I do, I can do my job anywhere, and it would be a bit much asking Jamie to sort of move thousands of miles away from her friends and family, retrain for a job, and then while she's doing that, I'll be like, right, I'll be back in 2 weeks, I'm just going to go film a travel film. So it made way more sense for me to move here, and also just having visited Winnipeg, coming to see Jamie here a few times, kind of fell in love with the place, and I could just, the more I got to know it, I could just see our lives just sort of stretching out in front of us here. So that's why I made the move.
You cover all of the all the jokes that we know about Winnipeg, those of us that are born and raised here. Like you talk about the Winterpeg aspect, the winter, all the things that are realities here, but the things that the question even of why you say you've fallen in love with the place. What types of things have you fallen in love with? Because it made me feel so good watching this. It was like this love letter to the city that I maybe take for granted. But what have you fallen in love with?
The main thing, the big draw for me is the community, just sense of community, and not just Jamie's family and friends have been so welcoming, and they made this place feel like a home for me before I even knew it was going to be a home. But everyone else I've encountered in the city, whether it just be in a bar or out shopping, everyone's just been fantastic. And I've lived in London for 17 years, and you don't get that sense of community there because it's such a big place and all your friends are spread out. So you can build a good life here as well. The quality of life that you can afford. You can sort of have a good life and still afford to travel. So there's been lots of different aspects, and I love the cultural scene here. I'm a musician myself, and seeing some of the live bands here are just fantastic. Shout out to Dr. Octopus, who a band I love in town. And so it's just been lots of little things, put them together, and it's this could be a really fun life living here, despite the weather in the winter.
Well, what's your life like otherwise in terms of what you actually do to populate your channel, like a full-time traveling YouTuber? How many years have you been doing this?
I've been full-time with it just the last few months, but it's been something I've been working on for over 10 years. And I've worked professionally as a video editor for 17 years, and then I started filming my travels just as something more fun and creative to work on than the stuff I was doing professionally. And but then I started a channel and started posting these documentaries on there, not expecting many people to watch it, just sort of a way of sharing it to friends and family and people we met on the trip. But it just started taking off and snowballing. So it gradually went from a side hobby to a side hustle to 50% of my income, and now it's the full thing.
What are you looking forward to the most as a Winnipegger in the next few months, and as you continue to live in our community? And I guess people might be wondering, are we going to be featured on the channel all the time now?
They'll be featured not all the time, but there's going to be lots more stuff.
Time to time.
Yeah, it's one of the videos. There's a couple of things I'm going to be working on in terms of Winnipeg content during this winter. Anytime I'm doing something interesting, like going to one of the winter festivals or going ice fishing, trying that for the first time, or just going to a Jets game, I'm going to sort of film all those bits and then make a video at the end of the season, like I survived my first winter in Winnipeg kind of thing. And then a bigger project I'm going to be doing this time next year is I'm going to be doing a coast-to-coast Canada trip, mostly on rail, just doing the whole thing on the train, and be traveling with a couple of friends from UK and Ireland. And so part of that will be showing them my new hometown and showing them around Winnipeg, which I'm really excited for.
I was hearing you talking about that rail trip. It sounds incredible.
Yeah. It'd be a great way to sort of, this is, my new country, my new home. So it'd be a great way to sort of, I've traveled around bits of Canada before, but never done like the full coast to coast. And so it's going to be just exciting, get to know this place a lot more.
How are you going to manage doing all this? I mean, you're coming from London, so I mean, I'm just comparing airports here. So now you're flying all over the world out of the Winnipeg Richardson Airport, which is a very different place when you think of the context of hubs for world travel. Yeah,
I mean, I have to fly a bit further. It's not a lie, but then some places are closer. It's like Jamie and I are going to do our honeymoon in New Zealand around Christmas, and if I was flying from the UK, it's about 30 hours of flying. Whilst from here, it's like, well, the flight from Vancouver is only 13. So it's like some places are further away, some places are closer, but the great thing about Winnipeg Airport, it's only like 10, 15-minute drive from the center of town, and from getting out your car to the other side of security, it's like 5 minutes. I mean, as someone who's been to a lot of airports all over the world, like, trust me, I love Winnipeg Airport. It's a good place. In terms of an airport, it's a great one to have as your home base.
Are you taking recommendations, Karl? Because, I mean, obviously, our show listenership is all across Manitoba. So would you want people to let you know, hey, Karl, come here, experience this?
100%, yeah, because I'm just getting to know it. So I don't necessarily know what all the great things are to experience. So if anyone has any recommendations of things in Winnipeg or Manitoba to check out and feature, that would be super helpful. I mean, an obvious one we want to do further down the line is go up to Churchill and see all the polar bears and things like that. But that's a well-known one. I'm sure there's lots of other things that I don't even know about yet, which would actually be fantastic. So if people have ideas, then please get in touch. It makes my life easier, so I don't have to do the research. So people get in touch. It's fantastic.
Love having you on. Love the video, and thank you very much for being with us this morning. We'll collect recommendations and we'll forward them to you as we get them.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
Yeah, nice to meet you. All the best.
Yeah. Great to chat to you. Thank you so much.
You as well, and welcome to Winnipeg.
Thank you.
Karl Watson, travel documentarian who posts his adventures on YouTube. So he just moved from London, England to Winnipeg. You can watch the full video about the move on his YouTube channel, Karl Watson Travel Documentaries, Karl with a K. It's called I Moved from London, UK to Winnipeg, Canada. And if you've got recommendations for something Karl should do or see in Winnipeg, call our listener line, as I mentioned. So we'll throw out our morning show listener line. You can reach us at 788-3205.